What is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and today we're going to cover the Valentine's Day event. It is really, really great. Love everything about the events they've put together, and there's a lot to talk about here. Including the fact that we don't have a green screen today. We're traveling. That's okay, though. If you like guides where we smash every holiday event when it comes around, you should definitely like and subscribe. We're going to tell you exactly how to do that, and we're a sponsored creator with Rise of Civilizations. So what do you need to know about the Valentine's Day event? Oh my goodness, there's a lot to talk about. First of all, there is a Pledge of Thorns where you build out a bouquet of roses, and if you pay 7,000 gems, you can unlock an extra tier of rewards. If you are doing this event to completion, and you should, it's definitely worth using gems to power your way up to the top because you get so many legendary sculptures of value. Even if you just get to this level 15 landing point, you've made back 7,000 gems of value by getting the 10,000, by getting the 10 legendary sculptures. So anyways, if you keep going, there's a special city decoration, which is awesome. Let's see, the city decorations over here, Bed of Roses, and then the city hall decorations over there, Cupid's Arrow. I mean, this is just amazing. We're going to go all the way up to level 25, hands down, slam dunk. And we need to look at where you can actually get these roses. So let's see here. This shows you the amount of experience that you need to upgrade. And adoration is where you find your roses. Collecting resources on the map, collecting resources in your city, and defeating barbarians on the map. If you want a guide on how to generate crazy amounts of resources in your city and collect crazy amounts of resources out on the map, up in the top, we'll have a card to my Gathering series, which I made a long time ago, but it all still is very, very good and true. Now, the next event that you're probably thinking about that does involve some amount of strategy is the Chocolate Crusade. That's right, the Chocolate Crusade. Here's how this event works. You take your army out into the wild, you defeat barbarians. Every time you do that, you accumulate an amount of chocolate. When you go back to your town, you score your points based on the total amount of chocolate you accumulated in that trip, and that's your score for the event. Now, if you go back out and you get even more chocolates than you did the last time, you'd have a higher score, and that's the score it would keep. It keeps the highest score from when you run out in a single trip out of town. So what this means, really, if you are maxing out your participation in this event, and you use some amazing commanders, we'll talk about it in a second, your strategy is going to basically be to have these commanders out of your city for the next 2 days, literally. You park them, you leave them out of your city, you make sure you don't actually go back to town, and you do what I call going infinite. You go infinite, you do so much healing, and you do enough damage that you can infinitely battle a certain tier of barbarian. Now, in order to optimize the way that you do that, it's very important you look at the number of chocolates rewarded down in the bottom because there are bandings. A level 25 barbarian rewards the same number of chocolates as a level 21. So that means that if you can't infinitely battle level 25 barbarians, and most can't, then you're going to want to stick to the lowest end of what you can do infinitely. So maybe that's doing 21s infinitely, maybe that's doing 16s infinitely. It's worth mentioning that you get a lot more action point efficiency if you're battling level 21s than if you're battling level 16s, because you're getting half as many chocolates for a level 16. Now, with that said, the rewards here are pretty strong. We're talking about legendary commander sculptures up at the top. I got a big work thing I got to do this week. I don't have time to do this. I have the action point potions to do it. I just don't have the time. I also do have the commanders. I might even have some of the very best commanders that we've got on our kingdom for doing this. Who do I think you should be using? The choice is Lohar as the primary, absolutely, without a doubt. He is the primary. Use the Rage Tanking Guide that we just talked about, card up in the top, over here. Check out that guide. It's going to give you all the pairings in great detail. It's going to give you reports of the damage. Yes, everything you need for sweet, sweet Rage Tanking will be there. That said, using Richard I as the secondary, I think, is the way to go. Lohar with Richard I is the way to go. You could use Richard I with Charles Martel as your combination, and look, you lose action point efficiency if you go that route because you're not going to have this talent over here, Insight, which is reducing the action points per barbarian that you attack. So my guidance would be, in a perfect world, Lohar with Richard I. If you don't have Richard I, then it's probably going to be Boudica, and that's your combo. Go infinite, park your troops after every single battle so you don't accidentally send them back to town, and you could win this event. It is pretty straightforward. It's just a question of who has the commanders that hit that break point and who has the most patience and who has the most action points. That's the combination of things you need to win this event. So I know I talked a lot about why Lohar is really good for this event. I just want to call attention to the fourth skill here and the expertise skill on Lohar, which heals a bunch of units after a battle concludes. One technique you can use if your army is getting lower and lower on health is you can battle a barbarian that's much lower and is very easy for you to beat. And assuming you have a lot of healing going on in your unit, you actually will get more healing from that short battle by virtue of this skill here, Unruly Blood. Then you take in damage, and you can start to bring your unit back to full health by battling those barbarians at an even lower tier than what you can normally sustain at a relatively infinite pace. So that's one technique you can use to kind of heal back up. Now, I've got an interesting conundrum if I am going to try to do this event, and this is just one more reason that I probably shouldn't, is that my Lohar and Richard are both level 60. I'm gaining 0 experience if I use this combination to battle barbarians. One thing I could do is use Charles Martel and Lohar, and I might be able to go nearly infinite with that combination, and then at least I'm power leveling my Charles Martel, and all the experience isn't completely wasted. The experience is wasted on Lohar, so, I don't love this event for me, given the commanders and situation that I personally have. It is a pretty cool and fun event. And, one other thing you need to realize when you do this event is that if you can spend a lot of time looking in and sending out your gatherers repeatedly to gather resources, then ultimately you are really kind of losing out a little bit during an event like this because one of your armies is not going to be able to gather resources. It has to stay out for the duration of the event to try to maximize your score. So the event is fun. The event is exciting. I'm excited about it, but for me, I think I might not participate. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's head back to the rest of the events here. You don't have to worry about going infinite as much just to get the max tier of this chest, which every single player should do. Get those roses. It's pretty sweet. Now, the last event that we should be talking about, and you can see I actually just made some progress on it, is Love Beckons. How sweet. We've seen this event, this style of event, many times at this point. Over the course of the next 5 days, there's going to be a series of things that you need to go do. There's going to be barbarian forts. There's going to be killing barbarians. Hopefully there's alignment with barbarian killing and doing... I don't know if it's in day 2. Hopefully the barbarian killing is in day 2, so you can stack that with your chocolate gathering. Anyways, you combine those things in a way that makes sense, and you get a lot of roses along the way, which is really great. That'll help you power up your Pledge of Thorns. Now, if we read the Valentine's Day event information, you can see here that on the 13th, we're going to get a couple other things. Brazen Thieves looks a lot and sounds a lot like the event we had with stolen Christmas presents over the holidays. And the Valentine's Day sale sounds like another way to get roses to help finish up your flower arrangement. And hopefully it's otherwise a pretty good pack. I'm honestly going to try to minimize the amount of action point potions I use over the course of this event, because I really want to be using my action point potions when I'm getting arrows of resistance. And look, hopefully there's going to be some alignment with that. So I'm going to wait. Hopefully, the most magical thing in the world would be if Lohar event happened tomorrow, in which case, yeah, I'm going to end up probably competing in this chocolate crusade. Anyways, that is what I think you need to know about this Valentine's Day event. We're going to do probably purchases of every single pack available on the Valentine's Day event, assuming that there's a good amount of speed ups contained within those. So come on back on the 13th to check that out. We'll have full details on that. And again, take a look at the Rage Tanking and Ultimate Tanking guides up in the top to get a sense of some combinations you can use to smash these barbarians and go infinite for your chocolate gathering. If this video was helpful, please do like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.